Now, students across the world have been out there in the streets protesting, calling on their schools to cut ties with Israel. The protests now have expanded to some 90 campuses in more than a dozen countries. Here at home, demonstrators at Atlanta's Morehouse College are calling for the school to cancel President Biden's upcoming commencement address because of his support for the war in Gaza. And we're joined by Calvin Bell. Now, Calvin's a senior political science and philosophy major at Morehouse, a finalist for the Rhodes Scholarship. Says he's unsure how he will vote in the 2024 election, at least at this point. Thank you for coming on, Calvin. You're unsure how you will vote, but what do you think of the president coming to speak? Are you open to hearing from him?
Yes, I certainly am open to hearing from President Biden. I think initially my thought was that this would be a hindrance on many of our families, as well as the class of 2024 that came out of the class of 2020. But I think it also has implications for many things as we arrive in 2024 November with the election coming up for the next 4 years. And so I certainly want to hear how he wrestles with the issues at hand and what this will mean for us as young Black men going into a world where we will be the majority and then moving into minorities in our prospective fields.
Interesting. So whether you agree or disagree, you still want to hear from him, where some, whether they be students and also alumni, have said the opposite. We have a couple of headlines here. Atlanta Voice talking about the Morehouse protest from the West Bank to the West End. AUC students gathered to speak out against the war and U.S. involvement. And then I want to put up a quote from the Morehouse Alumni Letter about the Biden visit. I'm quoting from it now. In inviting President Biden to campus, the college affirms a cruel standard that complicity in genocide merits no sanction from the institution that produced one of the towering advocates for nonviolence of the 20th century. If the college cannot affirm this noble tradition of justice by rescinding its invitation to President Biden, then the college should reconsider its attachment to Dr. King. So again, this is a Morehouse alumni letter. So what would you say? You're more open-minded, for lack of a better way of putting it, I guess, than the alumni that wrote that letter. You want to hear from the president.
Yeah, so certainly my personal opinion is that the school should have considered whether rescinding the invitation should have been the best move. We know that President Biden has been in the news more recently as the United States has backed Israel within this terror in Gaza. But if he is to come to our campus, it is important that the speech does not come off as a campaign speech. We know that he's low right now in numbers when it comes to the Black vote, especially amongst Black men. But it is important that we receive a message where we can wrestle with the issues at hand and learn from this. And what does this mean for us as we walk out of the forefront and the gates of Morehouse College?
I want to know what message you'd like to hear, because one of your fellow classmates, to your point about campaigning, said just doesn't want to see the students be used as a pawn. This is the headline in The Guardian about Morehouse students criticizing Biden as a commencement speaker. The quote is, it's just not a smart move to make. You just allow your students and your school to be used as a political pawn to get Black votes. So there's a concern about politicizing it. You say bring them in, but what about the message? What message would you like to hear?
Yeah, I would agree with that headline, that we don't want to be utilized as political pawns. We know for so long that Black votes have gone towards the Democratic Party, but rather we want to know what his feelings are surrounding this issue. A call for a ceasefire would be something that would allow a lot of my brothers to feel welcomed. What are the policy issues that he will care about that will advocate on our behalf as we walk out of the gates of Morehouse College? We want to know what kind of world we're walking into under the Biden administration.
It's not just Black voters, right? It's young voters. And, so what would you say about that group of voters? I mean, you're a member of that group. You're a young voter yourself, about what the effect could be in November if they don't show up, because we've been talking to a lot of people about this. The alternative, of course, is that you could have another Trump presidency, another 4 years of Trump, if Biden doesn't get the turnout.
Yeah, we certainly know that as someone who personally is not right-leaning at all, that we don't want a Trump presidency because this issue could easily be demolished. The Palestinian people would not survive under a Trump presidency. But rather, we want a president who will represent our viewpoints, who will advocate for loan forgiveness, who will speak up on issues such as this right here when it calls for a ceasefire, who will call for ensuring that those behind bars on petty drug offenses can be be released. These are issues that we care about. We're walking into an economy that we're unsure about, but we want to feel heard. And I think the youth right now surely feel more ambitious than ever about democracy.
Right.
I think it's not being shown in the way that people want to see it. However, we care about our vote, which is why we're allowing our voices to be heard in the way that it is.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.